Hello everyone and welcome to round 3 of the AFL. We're at Collingwood, who tonight host Brisbane in the Thursday night game. Current score: Collingwood 4-7-31, Brisbane 3-3-21, and we're going to play the whole of the second half of this game today, so two 20-minute periods. So the setup is slightly different. You can see a lot more blue chips. They're the players that have already served their 10-minute rest time. At the start of the second half, you are back to your original starting 18. So the 4 players in the interchange are the actual interchange players. So let's get this game started with a bounce up. We're going to use the new bounce up rule as well. Just need to get my charts out so that they're all ready and easy to access, and then we can get on our way. So here we go. So we've got a bounce up and it's a 10. Roll the d20, and the difference in the ruck players is a +3 to Collingwood, or the home team, so it will mean 1 to 15 will be Collingwood. So home team 1 to 12 plus the difference, 1 to 15, immediate advantage, but they get a behind, so somebody's already going to score here, and it's going to be a 1, so it's going to be Collingwood. We'll move to the forward 50, and number 50 for Collingwood is Josh Thomas, gets a behind, and so Collingwood immediately on the score sheet, which means that the ball will be brought back in from the defensive 50 of Brisbane. How are they going to bring this back in? And we've got a 7, so they're going to try to do a mark from midfield to defence, from defence to midfield. Let's see who the players are. We've got Jack Payne, who's got a kick of 1, trying to mark to Hugh McCluggage, who has got a mark of 0, so it's only a 1 can make it successful, and it's not going to be a successful mark. So here's one of the new rules: can a Collingwood player take a defensive mark? 2, Steele Sidebottom has got no mark, so he can't take it, so it's a loose ball, and we're going to be looking at 1% in the midfield. So half for Brisbane, half 1 for Collingwood. Collingwood will win that, so we do have a challenge, and all challenges now have to be rolled 1 to 4. So Brisbane win that in the midfield, so midfield ball for Brisbane, and an 8 is a tackle. So Brisbane will try to get a tackle in. Let's see who the players are. 2 for Brisbane is Dane Darko, who's got a disposal, against 2 for Collingwood Sidebottom, who's got half a tackle. So 1 to 4 for Brisbane to win this, and they don't, so Collingwood will take over, and on a tackle the defence will take the ball in that area. So Collingwood have the ball in midfield with a 7, which is a blast. How long is this going to last? 2-minute blast. So we are checking tackle. So for Collingwood, who have got the ball, tackle is half, 1.5, 3.5, 4, and for Brisbane 1, 3, 4, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. So it's going to be 1 to 5 for Brisbane to have the second scoring opportunity. So yes, so Collingwood will go first, Brisbane will go second. Collingwood can only score off the miss chart, so we can roll a load of dice here. Let's see who gets what happens. So a 6 off the miss chart is a scramble and a defence behind, and the player is 5, who is Joe Danaher. So Collingwood get their second behind of this period, and now we have to find out who is going to take the kick for Brisbane. 37. wasn't Delia, it was Cox for Collingwood. So we're looking at 37, who is Lincoln McCarthy. He's got 3 stars, so that will become 5 stars. Chances are this is going to be a goal, and it is. So McCarthy gets the goal for Brisbane, and we're going to go to the centre to have a bounce up. Collingwood now 1 score behind, 1 score in front of Brisbane. Let's have the bounce up, and it's a 6. Trailing ruckman wins the centre zone, so Brisbane wins the bounce, and they will have the ball in midfield. And the good thing about these new rule changes is there's a lot more scoring, a lot more opportunities to score quicker. A 6 is going to be a crash, so we need to know who are involved in the crash, and it's going to be number 4 Latchley Neal and number 4 Taylor Adams, and we're looking at a 3, which is a 1% against a star. He doesn't have a 1%, he has half a star, so 1 to 4 for Collingwood. So Collingwood will take the ball at midfield, I think. Let's see what the blue dice tells us. Let's roll him again. 4 off the blue dice. They're going to advance to the forward 50. So Collingwood moving up the field into the forward 50, and a 4 is going to be a mark, so it's going to be a forward to forward mark. Let's see who's going to be the mark. It's going to be from 4, who is Hoskins Elliott, with a kick of 2 to 1, who is Cox. A mark of 0, so 1 to 2 will give them a mark, so he's going to miss that mark. Is there a Brisbane player to reclaim it? No. So what are we going to check? We're going to check clear. So for Collingwood we've got 1, 1.5, and for Brisbane we've got a half, so 1 to 4 it will be Collingwood. So Collingwood will keep the ball in the forward 50. And we've got a referee, or as it's now an umpire's chart. So let's see what the umpire is going to do here. 8 is going to be a defensive tackle, so a defensive penalty. Collingwood will have the ball in the offensive zone, and it'll be a kick for Josh Thomas, unless he wants to try and mark. And I do that 5 and a 6. He does. He doesn't. So kick for Thomas, 2 stars. Going to miss the kick, and then a 6 is going to be a scramble in front from the goalpost, so Thomas will get a behind. So 3 behinds in this third quarter for Brisbane against for Collingwood against a goal for Brisbane. So we have a behind. What they're going to do, 17, they're going to play it out, and an 8 is going to be a scramble. So the scramble is going to check the skill level. So Brisbane with skill has got half, 1, Collingwood 1, 2, 2.5, so 1 to 4 for Collingwood to win this, and they do. So Collingwood in the forward 50 have the ball, and as a result a 6 will be a kick at goal. Let's see who's going to take the kick. 85, who is Taylor Adams, and he's got a kick rating of 1. He's got 1 star, so no, that shouldn't be that dice, it should be that dice. I'm going to roll all those again because they've changed the numbers. So he's going to miss the kick, but with a 7 he's badly missed it, and Brisbane will take the ball in their defensive 50. And they will try a scramble. Didn't need those 2 dice. A 6 will be skill, so we already know that that is going to be in the favour of Collingwood, so 1 to 4 for Collingwood to take the ball, and they don't, so it's going to stay with Brisbane. And do they move up with a 1? No, they'll stay in the defensive 50. It's been a big defensive match, this. 12 is going to be an on the run, so we roll the blue dice. We're in the defensive 50. I need the 2 players as well, if necessary. It's going to be a mark from Marcus Adams to Hugh McCluggage, but the 2 advances it to midfield, so the mark was good, and Brisbane will move to the midfield slot. 11. The ball bounces high into the air. We're still we're just starting the 8th minute of the game, and the quality we're checking for this is 1% against Star, so Brisbane with 1% is 1. Well, it's half. Star, half, 1, 2, 2.5. It's more than going to be 2 or more, so 1 to 5 for Collingwood, and Collingwood will take the ball. And with a 5 in midfield, it is going to be advanced to the forward 50, so Collingwood putting the pressure back on the Brisbane defence, and they've got an 11, which is another high bouncing ball, and we're checking 2, which is Star against 1%, so half, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 2, 5, so they've already got 2 up, so 1 to 5 for Brisbane, and Brisbane will take the ball back in their defensive 50, and a 6 is going to advance them up to midfield, so Brisbane at midfield as we enter the 9th minute, and a 10 is going to be it's going to go out of bounds, and so we're going to have a throw in the centre. 6 trailing ruckman wins current, so that's going to be Brisbane are going to win that in midfield, and there's going to be a blast. So let's see how many minutes this one's going to take. 6 minutes is going to take us over the substitution, so we'll finish the blast first. So 6 minutes on a blast is Star, so we're looking at the Star quality in the midfield. Half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, half, 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, so 1 to 4 for Collingwood to win this blast, and they will. Brisbane will go first, Collingwood will go second, so we're looking at Brisbane on the miss chart, and a 7 is going to be a bad miss, so they're going to get no score at all. So now we look for the Collingwood kicker. 30. That's going to be Brodie Grundy, and he'll get 2 stars plus 2 bonus, so it's 4 stars. Will be a goal, and he misses it. So he misses the kick, and the 7 is going to be a bad miss, and Brisbane will take over in their own D50. So didn't even get on target, and so now we're going to do the substitutions, and remember these are the guys that are the current interchange players, so we're going to use the green markers for Collingwood. So we've got a midfielder here and we need to get, so Taylor Adams will come off. So Josh Dacos, Jack Madgan will come on for Isaac Quaynor. So we'll give him a green chip. And then I'm going to bring Josh Dacos in and take Max Cox off, so we've got him ready for the whole of the fourth period. And then we've got Chris Main, who will come in. I'm going to take Jordan De Goey off. And these guys will move up because he's got no stars, so play your star players first. They're getting to the better range, and so Main will go there. And then for Brisbane, they're going to have the yellow chips. So we've got Callum Archie, who's going to come on for Andrew Harris, and he will move to there. Connor Ballenden is a midfielder, so he will come on, and I think I will take McCluggage off. And these guys will have to move up because he's not got a star. Zach Bailey I'm going to bring on at the front and take Charlie Cameron off. And Ryan Lester is a defender, but he can't play in defence. So I'm going to take Zorko off and play Robinson in midfield. And if I just show you the scorecard here, I'm taking a lot of the top players off because I've only got this amount left to play, so they don't miss a full 10 minutes. So anyway, back to the game. The last thing was a miss, and Brisbane took over in their defensive 50. So 7 is another blast, all that, and we got another blast. And it's going to be a 5-minute blast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will leave us 30 seconds left at the end of this half, so it's going to be finishing very quickly this half. And a 5 on a blast is going to be disposal. So Brisbane have got half, 2.5, 2.5, and Collingwood have got half, 1, 1.5. So 1 to 4 will be Brisbane, and it will be Brisbane. So Collingwood will go first on the miss chart, and Brisbane will go second on the kick. So let's see what happens with Collingwood. An 8. An 8 is a missed goal left behind for the kicker. 47 for Collingwood will be Josh Thomas, with the 4th behind of this period for Collingwood. So let's see who's going to attempt to kick for Brisbane. Remember that the player who kicks must have at least 1 star, otherwise we re-roll. Let's roll that again. And for Brisbane it's going to be 69. It's going to be Mitch Robinson. He's got a 1, so I'll get an extra 1 star bonus. Let's see what happens with the kick. 1 to 2 will be a kick, and so he misses it. And 7, yeah, you guessed it, it's going to be a miss. So he's going to miss, and Collingwood will take over in their own D50. So this is going to be the last 30 seconds of this third quarter, and we've got a 7, a blast. So it will only last, see what it is, 1, but it's only half a minute anyway. But we will do the check on a skill. So Collingwood skill is going to be 2, 2.5, 3. Brisbane half, 1.5, 2. So 1 to 4 will be Collingwood, and so Brisbane will actually get the kick option. Collingwood will go on the miss chart. Let's see if they can score anything. 6. Missed goal right by 34 for Collingwood, who is going to be Brodie Grundy. Gets the 5th behind of this period of this quarter for Collingwood. And Brisbane, who's going to take the kick opportunity. Number 3, Joe Daniher, and that will be a goal because he's a 4 plus 2 is going to be a 6. So Daniher gets the goal, so there's no point in trying to work out what that is. So at the end of the 3rd period, so 3/4 time, Collingwood 4-12 36, Brisbane 5-3 33. So it's a very close game that we've got here. So let's just move on to the fourth period on the scoreboard. And obviously we have substitutions. So this is where it gets good, because there's only 2 players from each team that must come off. And so if we look at Collingwood, it's going to be Pendlebury and Brown. And what that does for us is it means that all the blue chips for Collingwood can come off the field, and we should just be left with the green chips. And now what we need to do is fill in these players. So we need a midfielder. So De Goey can come back on, and then these 2 have to come back on, and they will be replacing the 2 of the original interchange players. So Quaynor will come back on, Adams can come on in midfield. We'll take Main off. And then for Brisbane we can do the same. And then at 10 minutes of the 4th quarter we'll take the other 2 off. So let's have a see who's got to come off. For Hipwood's got to rest, and Robinson. So now we can take all the other blues. It just declutters the actual game mat. Oh, and by the way, this is the first time this game mat has been used in a game on YouTube. So we've got Cameron as a forward, and he has got 4, so he'll come in there. McCluggage can come back on into midfield. I always try and keep them in the right positions if I can. Archie will come off as one of the original interchange players for Harris Andrews, and Danny Zorko will come off on, and Ryan Lester. No, Ryan Lester will stay on. I'll take Ballenden off because he's got no. So Lester is the other one. So we're now set up ready for the 4th period. Each have got 2 of the interchange players left, and they will come off halfway through this 4th quarter. So we're going to start the 4th quarter with a bounce and a 4. Highest rated ruck wins. So the highest rated ruck is going to be Brodie Grundy for Collingwood. So Collingwood win, and they're in midfield. So Collingwood have the ball, and the 7 is straight away is a blast. We've had a lot of blasts in this game so far, and it's going to be 5-minute blast. So let's have a look at what a 5 is on a blast. It's a disposal, so we're counting disposals. and we're in midfield. Half, 1, 1.5, 2.5, 4.5, 5, and 1, 3, 4, 5. So we tied, so it goes to the team in possession. Collingwood 1 to 4, and it's a 1, so Collingwood will get the kick. Brisbane will get the chance on the miss chart. Let's see how they get on. 9. Long range kick hits the post, so only counts as a behind, and number 32 for Brisbane is Zach Bailey, the interchange player, so he gets him a behind for the first score of this fourth quarter. So who's going to get the chance for the kick for Collingwood? 25 is going to be Brody Mihacek. He's 3, so he becomes a 5, getting the 2 bonus. So green dice 5 will give it, and he gets the goal. So 42 to 34 now. 2 scores needed for Brisbane. 6.5 minutes in, we've got a bounce into the centre, and an 8. D20 home. Rookman wins 1 to 15 because of the bonus, and the winner will be in the current zone. So it's going to be Brisbane win. Collingwood have the advantage, but 1 to 15 to 16. So Brisbane take control in the midfield, looking for a quick score, and the umpires are going to get involved here. Let's see what's happened. 6, it's going to be a defensive penalty, so Brisbane will keep the ball, and we're in midfield, so it's going to be attempted mark from Robertson, who's the kick of 0, to McCarthy, who's a mark of 2. So 1 to 2 will be a successful mark, and he's missed the mark. So is there a player for Collingwood that can take the mark? 5, he's got a 2, so 1 to 2 will be a mark, and it isn't, so it's going to be a loose ball, and we're looking at 1%. So we're in the forward 50 now. 1% is going to be for Brisbane, half 1 for Collingwood, 1, 3. So they've already got a +2, 1 to 5 for Collingwood to win this, and they're going to lose it. So Brisbane will get the ball in the forward 50. So can Brisbane get on the scoreboard again? 8 is going to be a tackle, and the tackle is going to be between McCarthy, who's not got a disposal, and Quaynor, who's got half a tackle. So Quaynor, the defence, 1 to 4, and Collingwood will take the ball in their own defensive 50. So stopping the advance of Brisbane. And by the way, just to let you know, Brisbane are 2-0. One of 4 teams that have not lost, and Collingwood are 1-1. So this is a 9, a scramble, and we're going to check clear. So for Collingwood clear, you always do the home team first. They don't have a clear. For Brisbane, we've got half, 1, 1.5, 2, so 1 to 5 for Brisbane to take the ball back, and they don't. So what happens with the ball? 4 on a scramble in the D50. They're going to advance it out to the midfield. So Collingwood keep the ball, and they move up into the midfield. And 7, another blast. If this is over 2 minutes, then we'll be going over the final substitutions. It's a 1 minute blast, and a 1 minute blast is skill. In the centre, 1, 1.5, 2, 4, 4.5, 5, 1, 2, 4, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 1-4 for Brisbane. And so Brisbane will get the second chance. Cole will go on the miss. Collingwood will go on the miss chart. So let's see what happens with Collingwood. 42-34. You can still score a goal off the miss chart. 9. That's going to hit the post, and Dacos is going to get a behind. They haven't been able to get going really in this second half. Let's see who's going to take the kick for Brisbane. 5, that's going to be Daniher, and again he's a 6, so Daniher will automatically get a goal. So we're going to go to the centre. 43-40, so, and we do have draws in Aussie rules, so if it's tied at the end of this fourth quarter, then that will be the end of the game. So we've got a bounce and a 6. Trailing team take the bounce, so Brisbane get the ball back, and they'll be in midfield. Three. So we're going to have a bouncing ball in the midfield area, and we're going to check 4, which is clear against skill. So Brisbane's clear is 1, 2, 4, 6, 6.5, and we're checking against skill. Half 1, 3, 3.5, 4, 5. So 1-4 for Brisbane to keep control, and they do. So Brisbane have the ball, and a 1 is going to be a mark chance, offensive mark chance. So let's see who's going to mark. It's going to be from Devon Robertson, who's not got a kick, to Thomas Berry, who's not got a mark, but a 1 will always be a good mark, so he's going to miss that mark. So Brisbane miss. Is there a Collingwood player that can take a mark? Roughhead has got a 1-2 chance, and he misses that, so it's going to be a loose ball, and we're going to check skill within the forward 50 for Brisbane. Half, 1.5, 2 against half, 1, 2, so 1-4 will be Brisbane. So they lose that, and Collingwood will take it in the D50. 9.5 minutes gone in this final quarter. A 10 is going to be an out of bounds, so we're going to have a throw. So we go to the throw chart, and we're in the D zone of Collingwood. So if Brisbane get the ball, they get a kick. So an 8. D20, home ruckman wins and stays in the current zone, so he's got 1-15. So Collingwood win, and they're in their own D50, and we're at 10 minutes. So our last 2 players to be substituted come back, and we know that Sia has to go off because he's one of the original interchangers, and Dacos has to go off because he is one of the original interchangers. So let's move all these guys up, because Callum Brown is going to come in, and Scott Pendlebury will come into midfield for Collingwood, and the 2 guys that are coming off for Brisbane is going to be Zach Bailey, the forward, and Ryan Lester, the midfielder. And we've got Hipwood, move him down I think, and Robinson. So last 10 minutes of this game, the ball is with Collingwood in their defensive zone, and it's a blast. Gosh, we've had a lot of blasts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th blast in this second half. It's very unusual. And we're going to get a 2-minute blast, and that is the good thing about it, is you're virtually guaranteed, although we haven't had them, 2 scores. So we're looking at tackle in the defensive zone of Collingwood, half 1, 1.5, 2, and for Brisbane half 1, so 1 to 4 will give it to Collingwood. It's a 6, so Brisbane have got a chance to go in front here. Let's see what happens with Collingwood first on the miss chart. 6, miss right, 22 for Collingwood is Mason Cox, so it gets another behind. So a chance here for Brisbane to take the lead for the first time in the whole game. This will be the first lead they've had all the way through the game. 25, that's a good number. Cameron, so 1 to 4, in fact it's a goal because he's extra 2, so Charlie Cameron gets a goal, and that will give the first game lead to Brisbane. And we're going to go to the centre for a bounce. 11. Lower rated ruckman wins immediate advantage with a kick, and the lower rated ruckman is the Brisbane player. So they're going to go up into the forward 50. We've got to see who the player is that's going to take the shot. 2, Daniher. Brilliant for them. So Daniher has the chance. A 4 will be a goal. And suddenly Brisbane, they get the goal. So Daniher. And that's how quick this game can change. Because the goal is worth a 6 and the behind is only worth a 1. So suddenly they are 2 scores in front. As we are in the 13th minute, and we're going to go straight to the bounce again. 11. Lower rated ruckman wins immediate advantage, so he's got exactly the same thing. Brisbane again. So who's going to take this one? 22. So Cameron with a chance, and again it's a 4 or less on the green dice. Will give him another goal. They've missed it. 5. Scramble in front of goal, defender gets a hand on it and knocks it through the goalpost, so Cameron will get a behind for Brisbane. And we'll go to the defensive 50 of Collingwood. How will they bring this out? 19, they're going to just bring it out as an action play, and it's a 5, so the referees, the officials chart. So let's see what the umpires are going to say about this. 7, ball goes out of bounds for a throw in. So again we go back to the throw chart, and that's made a big difference to Brisbane in this 4th period. 11 again, so it's going to be an immediate kick for Brisbane. Let's see who's taking the kick. 66. Hugh McCluggage has got a 2. So Brisbane have really piled on the pressure and the points. He's missed the kick, and a 10 is a video review with a 1, which is going to give him the goal. So McCluggage gets the goal, the 4th goal in this 4th quarter for Brisbane, and Brisbane have just blown a big hole in the Collingwood offence and defence and just taken the game by the scruff of the neck. So now Collingwood are 5, 14, 44, and Brisbane are 9, 5, 53. So as we begin the 15th minute, we've got a centre bounce, and it's going to be a 10. G20 home reckon somebody's going to get a behind, he's going to get a shot, and then it's going to miss. So let's see who it is. 1 to 15 is going to be Collingwood. So Collingwood will have an immediate advantage but miss the kick. 76 for Collingwood is going to be Scott Pendlebury. who kicks but not in between the middle posts and gets himself a behind. And what are Brisbane going to do to bring it up? They're going to use 12, and a 12 is a mid to mid mark, so Brisbane with a mark, sorry, a defense mark. So he's going to go from Hoskins Elliott, who's got a kick of 2, to Josh Thomas, who has not got a mark, so it's going to be 1 to 2. He's going to miss the mark, which is not good. If sorry, that's wrong, it should be 4. So it is a good mark. It's the Brisbane players. Does he want to move it on? He does, so they're going to try and mark forward. And he's going to try and mark it forward to Latchley Neal, so 2 kick. 1 to 2 will be a good mark, and it's another good mark. Do they want to try, this is one of the new rules by the way, do they want to try and move up into the forwards? And they do. So Latchley Neal is going to try and mark it over to Josh Dampier. 2 and 2 or 4 or less will get him, and he's missed the mark, so the third mark to move him up for a shot. Is there a player that's going to take it for Collingwood? 1 to 2 for Quaynor, and he doesn't, so we're going to have a loose ball, and that loose ball is going to be a 1% check, and we're up in the forward 50 of Brisbane. So 1% for Brisbane is going to be 1. They've already got a +2 there, so 1 to 5 for Collingwood to take this ball, and they will. So Collingwood take it in the D50, and they needed to do that. Another score would have been virtually the end. Still got a lot to do. They need 3 scores. 6 is going to be a crash, and this crash is going to be between Noble and Lincoln McCarthy, and it's a 6 on a crash, automatic offence. So Collingwood win that, and from the defensive 50 with a 6, they're going to advance up to midfield. Need to get a score quickly. 7, oh blast. This is where you really want the green dice to be low if you're a Collingwood fan. 5. This is going to end the game. It takes us right to the end of the game. And a 5 is disposal. So disposals in the centre. 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 5.5, 6. Against 1, 3, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 1 to 4 for Collingwood. And they're not even going to get that. They will have to go on the miss. And Brisbane will go on the kick. So let's see what happens to with Collingwood. 4. We're going to check the ground. 4 is going to be a behind, and that's going to be for Mihacek. Gets the behind for Collingwood. So let's see who's going to take the final kick for Brisbane. 50. Josh Thomas, who was a 2, becomes a 4. So 1 to 4 will be a goal, and it is a goal. So Josh Thomas gets the goal, and that is their 5th goal in the 4th quarter. So the game ends Collingwood 5-16-46 and Brisbane 10-5-65. So Brisbane will keep their unbeaten record intact. Collingwood will drop to 1 win, 2 defeats. And I hope you've enjoyed the game. If you've got any questions, ask me. I'm quite happy to answer them. Don't know what you think about the mat. Let me know what you think about that. If you have this game and you want the mat, just send me an email and I'll send you the image for to get this thing made. But yeah, really enjoyable game. If you want to see the scores, my score sheet, there it is. That's how I score my, all these lines are the blasts. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, we had 5 blasts in the first half of the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the second half, and it's very rare to get so many blasts in a game. Don't normally get that many, but there you have it. Collingwood 46, Brisbane 65. Brisbane remain unbeaten and move on to their next game. We'll be waiting for week 4. No doubt there'll be an update before then. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until then, goodbye.